Guys, one of the laws of politics that I've discussed here a lot is that the pendulum always swings the other way, right? That's why precedent in politics is so important, okay? Because what one side does, right, can in the future be used against them from the other side, right? And in this case, when it comes to this pandemic, the Democrats during the Trump administration played it up. They played up the deaths. They played up the case count. They made it the number one issue in this country solely to get President Trump out of office. And it was all political for them. Okay? In my opinion, I'm not necessarily sure if they was as concerned about life as they claim, because now all of a sudden we have Governor Cuomo coming out and basically telling people that he put down the deaths. He played down the deaths, refused to report as many deaths that actually were to the Department of Health because he didn't want to make it look bad. He didn't want to give Trump a political opportunity to attack him. And now that that's been revealed, it shows exactly how the Democrats are thinking about this pandemic. They used it as a political opportunity, more so than actually caring about people's lives. Okay? And this is, again, how politics works. This whole story comes out, shows the pendulum will swing the other way because they played up the virus so much. It's the worst thing in the world. And I'm not saying it's not. Obviously, the virus is serious, right? It's a pandemic. People should stay safe. You should follow CDC guidelines. I'm not going against that at all. What I'm simply saying is that the political hot potato that the Democrats were tossing to the Republicans in regards to COVID has now been tossed back into their lap, and they can't toss it nowhere else because they're running the show. Okay, so before we get in that, my name is Greg Foreman, and you're watching A Black Conservative Perspective. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share A Black Conservative Perspective, aka a leftist worst nightmare. You can also follow me on Twitter at GForemanBCP. Let's get it. All right, guys. So we have a bombshell report here, and I truly do mean a bombshell report about Dictator Cuomo, who is acting like a dictator. Okay. So there's an admission by Melissa DeRozan, who's an aide for the Cuomo administration, in which she basically comes out and say, yes, we cover up how many deaths there actually were in the nursing homes solely to try to avoid giving Trump political ammo to come after us. It's very messed up. The stunning admission by Governor Andrew Cuomo's top aide that the administration withheld the state's nursing home death toll out of fear that the damning numbers would be used against us by the feds has sparked bipartisan calls for a thorough probe and prosecution of the governor. Quote, Governor Cuomo, the secretary to the governor, and his senior team must be prosecuted immediately, both by the Attorney General of New York and the U.S. Department of Justice. U.S. Representative Elise Stefanik, a Republican from New York, wrote in a statement. This bombshell admission of cover-up and the remarks by the secretary to the governor indicated intent to obstruct any federal investigation is stunning and criminal abuse of power. Stefanik continued. Yes, absolutely. It is a stunning abuse of power here. This is Dictator Cuomo. And this is what conservatives have been telling people about these Democrat dictators. This is what Justice Alito has been telling people about this. Okay, when you give these executive authorities more power, it becomes dangerous. They become dictators. They start to act like this. Okay, quote, I have said from the beginning that this is more than a nursing home scandal. This is mass corruption and cover-up scandal at the highest level of New York State government, implicating the governor, the secretary of the government, the New York State Health Commissioner, and the governor's staff. She wrote, the families who lost loved ones, New Yorkers, and all Americans deserve accountability from the U.S. Department of Justice that will be independent and not swayed by the desperate political pressure from Governor Cuomo. New York Senate Minority Leader Robert Ort, representative from Niagara, said in a tweet, quote, Governor Cuomo and his administration must be investigated from top to bottom, and he must be stripped of his emergency powers. Justice needs to be bought for the grieving families who have been ignored to protect Governor Cuomo and his Democratic allies in the legislature. in a separate statement. He said, the news today that Governor Cuomo's top aide admitted to deliberately withholding information about COVID-19 death is the latest in a string of disturbing acts of corruption by his administration. This is clearly a gross obstruction of justice. Instead of apologizing or providing answers to the thousands of New York families who lost loved ones, the governor's administration made apologies to politicians behind closed doors for the political inconvenience this scandal has caused them. So let's take a listen at Cuomo and his response to these allegations.
A third of all deaths in this nation are from nursing homes. New York State, we're only about 28% only, but we're below the national average in number of deaths in nursing homes. But who cares? 33, 28, died in a hospital, died in a nursing home. They died.
You hear that, guys? I mean, in no uncertain terms, Governor Cuomo, to his people, to the people that he was elected to represent, right, and to take care of, he said, who cares about grandma and grandpa dying in a nursery home? It is what it is. They're just a statistic, right? And that's all they've ever been to these Democrat dictators this whole time. It's just a statistic to be used against President Trump. That is what it was about. But see, we're not just talking about just one or two people, right? That's off. That's not what we're talking about here. The bombshell findings could push the DOH tally of 8,711 deaths to more than 13,000, based on a survey of 62 nursing homes that found that the state undercounted the fatalities there by an average of 56%. Okay, 56%, right? You just added essentially almost 5,000 more deaths, 5,000 more deaths to the total. And Cuomo says, who cares? This is what these Democrats think about you. This is what these Democrats think about their people. Okay? So all that time bashing President Trump about how, oh, Trump lied, people died. Cuomo, literally Cuomo, the governor of New York, who was a part of this train, really lied while people died, right? He really did. And he had the opportunity and he covered it up. He covered it up because he made a mistake, in which he strongly implied that nursing homes had to take COVID-19 patients. You can go read it. It was very poorly worded. He comes out and said that's not what they actually meant. Guys, the worst part of this is not just his lack of care for the life, but the reason why he did it, right? In a prepared statement, Cuomo spokesperson Rick Azzopardi said, quote, "We explained that the Trump administration was in the midst of a politically motivated effort to blame the Democratic states for COVID deaths, and that we were cooperating with federal document productions, and that was the priority, and now it's over. We can address the state legislator. That said, we were working simultaneously to complete the audit of information they were asking for," he added. And there you have it, guys. Cuomo, even throughout all this, is continuing to blame Trump, to continue to say, listen, guys, did you want us to give the Trump administration more ammo to use against us? Is that what you wanted? Now, if that's what you want, then you're not helping our cause, because not COVID, but Trump is the worst threat to this country, way more than COVID, right? It's Trump, then COVID. That's the priority here. Okay, and if we got to sacrifice with COVID to get Trump out, that's what we'll do. Guys, that's how bad the Trump derangement syndrome is with the Democrats. That is how bad it is. That's how bad they hated Trump. That they would falsify information, fudge the numbers just to get the man out of office. It's sickening. So, guys, after this bombshell report, Cuomo definitely needs to answer, right? He needs to be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. He probably needs to resign. Honestly, he needs to resign. They have to go after the whole administration at this point. Again, because we're talking about 5,000 plus lives. Again, this is the type of corruption within the Democrat Party that has to be called out from both sides. Okay, I don't want to hear anything about Trump and COVID and his COVID numbers if y'all don't care about this, right? You have to step up to the plate and call it for what it is. This is corruption, okay? These people are innocent elders who were loved by their families, who unfortunately, because Cuomo's incompetence. And guys, this is a guy that wrote the book on how to lead in a pandemic. That's how big of a con man this man is. Because of this con man, they lost their lives. right? And then instead of apologizing for his mistake, he doubled down and tries to cover up. Guys, that is corruption. That is the type of corruption that deserves full prosecution. And I mean, quite honestly, he should be pushed to the far edges of society as much as they pushing Trump away. I mean, really. And as always, disclaimer here, it should remain peaceful, okay? Because I don't want anybody to watch my video and think I'm saying something that I ain't saying. Keep it peaceful. But what I'm saying is that there should be an impeachment trial for Cuomo right now, right? That's a more legitimate trial than anything they're talking about with President Trump right now. So let me know what y'all think about this. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share it. A Black conservative perspective. Peace.